Hi, good morning and happy Sunday. We are coming in on day 3, hard to believe, of the organization challenge. Well, I guess it's not too hard to believe, it was only day 3. But we have 30 days where we're gonna tackle these spaces one at a time. And I know we're at a really weird angle, but there's a reason why, because today we're talking junk drawers, and I'm gonna show you what's in mine. But before we get started, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Brooke Cribs, and I have the website Crib Style. So if you're catching me here either live or on replay or now on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share so that I can see that you're interested in what I'm showing. And as always, if there's anything that you want to cover that I haven't talked about or you want to make sure that I cover, please be sure to send me a message so that I can add it to the lineup. All right, let me clear this out of here. So, I think every house has one. Some houses have more than one. And like I said earlier, it's the junk drawer. So this can be anywhere in the house, but typically it ends up in the kitchen. And usually around where your drop zone is. So it's like the hub. It's like where if you need to find a pair of scissors, it's where you go. If you need to find a battery, it's where you go. It's those odds and ends and the bits and baubles and just the collection of stuff that you really don't know what to do with, but it's really important and you want to have it within your fingertip reach. What ends up happening is the drawer begins to grow and then things seem to get lost, and then before you know it, it's just like a pile of junk. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the drawer and hopefully make it a little bit more organized, and I'm going to show you what's in mine. Now, before we get started, one other thing I wanted to say. As we're doing the organizing challenges and as we go along this process, organizing is just like a friend of mine, Gina, said, organizing, or when you have a garden, you just don't plant your garden and let it go. Like, you have to go back and tend to it. You have to pull the weeds, you have to add more fertilizer, you oftentimes have to plant new plants if things die off. Organizing is kind of the same way. Like when you clean your house, you just don't clean it once and then expect it to stay clean. You have to periodically do it over and over again. Organizing is really no different. So just because you get something organized doesn't mean it's always going to stay that way. So you have to go through periodically and reorganize and kind of freshen things up, make sure that things didn't get put someplace they weren't supposed to be, especially if you have more than one person living in your house like I do. Everybody makes the assumption that because I do organizing that my stuff stays organized 100% of the time, and I can tell you that's 100% wrong. Even I get lazy, and so we are going to tackle this one space together. So I'm going to open this drawer up and we're going to get to it. So for you guys, it might not see that bad, and I'm going to point this down. And if you come in, let me know, let me see a thumbs up, or give me a comment so I know that comments are working. So in our junk drawer, you're going to find a myriad of things. So for us, we've got things like lottery tickets, we've got the stuff for our cooler, lubricant for the zipper, and then you're going to see that we have some little dividers and trays, which are great. I highly recommend those. I also highly recommend that you label things. But we'll get more to that in a second. So automatically off the bat, we have one of these containers. Now the girls got these in school. It's their supply containers, and every year at the end of the year I grab them because they typically bring them home and they're usually in pretty good condition. If they're not, then obviously throw them away or recycle them. But for this one, it's got little Kelsey's name on it, and it's where we keep our batteries. It doesn't have to be anything like out of this world. You can buy containers that have like individual slots for batteries, but then what if you end up having more batteries than what the slots are? Then it's kind of a waste. So in here we have all the batteries. You can see it's clear, so you can see what's inside. And then we have all the various shapes of batteries. And even these are a little messed up, so I'm just gonna quickly put them back together. This is also a good time to make note of anything that you need. So automatically I can see we've got a lot of C batteries, got a fair number of AA, but what I'm really lacking are AAA. And AAAs are kind of important because they run the remotes. And if you have anything, have kids like I do, or have somebody that likes to watch TV or any kind of remotes in general, they're gonna take AAA batteries. So this is a good time to grab a pen and paper, which we also keep in our junk drawer, and make a note of anything that you see that needs to be replaced or replenished. So for us, we're gonna need some more AAA batteries. And we probably could use a couple 9-volt batteries because as you know, if you have smoke detectors, most of them take a battery backup, which by the way, should be changed out typically every time you have daylight savings. So every 6 months, you should be changing out your batteries. And I know that it's always good to have a couple extra on hand just in case one of them goes funky and then it starts chirping and you don't want to have that. So I'll put some 9-volt batteries on here. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this aside. Also, what we keep in our junk drawer, like I said, the pen and the paper, and we have a lot of other pens. Now, part of the problem with our junk drawer was when we first moved into the house, we didn't have a designated space really set up for the office. I mean, we did, but we didn't have a lot of extra storage. But now that we do, I could probably clear out some of this stuff. But it is good to have a couple pens handy. Typically, when the girls come home, their drawer that they store their lunch boxes in is right here. So when they come home, they come in, they bring their stuff, I sign off on their agendas, and it's nice to have a pen close by so that I can do that, or a pencil. Pencils are always helpful. But in here, I also have my chalk markers. Well, now that I have a designated space in my office for all my supplies, I don't need to keep the chalk markers in the junk drawer anymore. So this is a good time to relocate the things that you don't need to have in your junk drawer anymore, especially if you have a new space. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly get these items out, and I'll leave some more pens in there. Now we do have some randomness. I'll throw that away. One thing I will say my family loves is office supplies. Office supplies are like my weakness. When I was growing up, I used to love going to the supply aisle, not the toy aisle, to look at notebooks and pens. And it seems like my family, we're a bit of pen hoarders. We like to grab pens, even if we find one that we really, really like, and somehow it ends up in our collection. So, all right, that's it for the chalk markers, and then again, some random item. Okay, so got that cleared out, and I could probably go through the pens and get rid of some more, but it is good to have some close at hand so we don't have to walk all the way into the office to get it because we are keeping it in here. Other thing we have in this, and what it should be just the pens and markers and whatnot, are a couple business cards and gift cards. I'm gonna put those in my purse. They really shouldn't be in here because nothing more frustrating than going someplace and realizing that whatever you needed you left at home. So things like coupons, business cards you can probably keep in there if you don't need them. But I have a business card holder, so I will move those there. And then I'm gonna put these gift cards into my purse so that I have them for later on down the road. All right, every junk drawer has to have a pair of scissors. If for whatever reason, you don't think people can remember to put things back, make sure that you label it. Labeling is always good. For my family, we're at an age where we don't need to label things. We keep the scissors in the same exact spot and location. Hey Mom, hey Gina. Let me know when you get in here and make some comments and let me know if you have any questions. So we always keep the scissors in the same spot in the drawer. That way, when we're done with them, everybody knows the scissors go back into the drawer in the same spot. It's really about repetition and making sure that people put it back when they're done. And it's one of those things we preach all the time. Now, the girls have their own little bin, and in here we've kept their little things that they like. And I can tell you, a lot of this stuff can probably be thrown away. Good morning, Beth. Now, I did tell them that over summer we're gonna go through the stuff in their bedroom. Hey Gina, and then we're gonna go through their mementos. And my mom, whenever she travels, she always brings them back, some amazing souvenirs. And one of the souvenirs she brings back will be any leftover money she has from whatever country or wherever she went. Well, it's for whatever reason, it's in the junk drawer and it doesn't need to be. It's where they also keep their hand sanitizer. Sometimes I'll have them take it in their book bags. They know they can take these. This is kind of like their little area. But then there's a broken piece of jewelry of Kelsey's that we need to get fixed. So I need to get a necklace for her. Then they have some chapstick. So this part isn't really that bad. This is the stuff that they know that's theirs, that they have access to. And then whenever we go to Disney and you get those little pens to go on their lanyards, they always lose the back, so we have extras and we keep those in here too, just in case. And then of course, coupons, which I'm gonna put these in here. These are coupons for things like services. So not necessarily coupons to take shopping, but coupons for services that I like to keep handy so that when we're ready to if we wanna get our trees trimmed, or I had a question about some termite inspections, I need to get that done. And I can also, if I wanted to, put this with my calendar, which actually now sounds like a better idea, so that I actually do it. Then of course there's little phone numbers from the girls they brought home for their friends, and I've already stored these, so I'm also gonna get rid of those. And then this is another coupon. So basically just going through and making sure that anything that's in the store needs to be here. And I can tell you right now, this stuff can be thrown away. How do I know that? Because the last time I was in here, these were coupons for birthday gifts and odds and ends, and we are done with that, so I'm gonna throw that away. So if you do it periodically, and I try to do it about every couple months, more note paper, then when you go to do it again, it's not that big of a deal because you've already done it. If you stay on top of it, it's not that bad, or it doesn't take as long to kind of get it back together. This bag, I know what it is. It is hardware for a project that I'm doing that I haven't finished, and I need to finish that project. So I'm gonna take it out of the drawer so it reminds me that I need to work on it, and I'm gonna work on it this week. I'll set it on I'll put it with my things to do, so I know to get it done. Here's the other thing. When you pull things out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that out, it's always good to do a real quick wipe through, so I'll do that as well. And this is another little bin, which was great, except for now it has a lot more odds and ends. Like my business cards, they can go in my office. I've got a place to put them. And Kennedy and I both got glasses this year, so we now have a place to put our eyeglass cleaner. So as you can see, it's like a bunch of literally odds and ends. Some hooks. We have a place now in the garage for those. So I will move those from the junk drawer to the garage in their bin that's marked hooks. So like I said, it's really important to go through because you don't know, you may have already created something that you can relocate the things that were in your junk drawer. Let me know if you have any questions. These little charging cells are good, but they're no good if you don't keep them charged. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge this one, and that's what this cord is. I have a universal charging cord that I keep in the drawer because I had a speaker that I had to use when I worked at Stretch and Grow during the school year, and then it works with my camera. So I always recommend keeping some kind of like universal charging cord close by because a lot of things will run off of those. Now this is funny. These are Eclipse glasses. The Eclipse was back in August, and the next one's not going to be for another 100 years, so I think I could probably get rid of these, yeah? Because Lord knows we probably won't remember that I have them. So again, I'm going to throw this away. And then here is a manual for one of the girls' GoPros. A lot of manuals anymore are online. I'll go ahead and take a look, since it's only one, I'll take a look at it and see if there's anything we need in it later on. But usually you can get rid of manuals as long as there's no 1 year or product warranty, which there is in this one, so I'll need to read that through. But a lot of the manuals, if you need anything, they're available online. You don't necessarily have to keep a paper copy, so don't feel like you need to do that either. All right, so now we're gonna get to what little is left. We do keep an emergency kit in our junk drawer. This is an emergency radio, and this is a flashlight. But again, the batteries are kind of low, so I may want to replace them. Not a bad time to take a look at your emergency supplies. We keep a multi-purpose screwdriver, always comes in handy. And then this actually went to our security system, which I am going to keep in there because we really don't keep a lot of stuff in our junk drawer. then this last bin is a bunch of the stuff for the dog's collars for the electric fence, which by the way, and this is to that project, which by the way we don't use. So I may need to relocate those someplace else, but keep them for the next owner because the owners before us, they kept them for us, which was really nice to have. And I can label the bag, you know, electric pet fence, so that if we would sell the house, then it's in there. Also, same way with the alarm system, extra key fobs, and then we keep our extra keys, and there's a couple extra things in here. So I'm gonna go through that a little bit. But once you pull everything out, then it's really important, like I've told you guys before, make sure you clean out the drawer or out the space. So there's no point in putting everything back if it's dirty. And I can tell you it is dirty because my youngest was opening up a thing of candy and it spilled on the inside and I didn't realize it until I just now pulled this out. All right, does anybody have any questions or anything so far? And again, I got a bunch of randomness I'm gonna throw out. I go through all the bins, wipe out the ones that are empty, put the girls' stuff back in their bins. I'm actually gonna transfer some of this stuff. Oh, found more coupons, don't need those. Some more paper clips I don't need in there. So you guys kind of get the gist, yeah? Line everything back up. I love these little plastic bins. I actually got these bins from Target and they were $1. So it doesn't have to be anything like super expensive, just something to make it easier. And see, I can't. To group the like items together so that the girls know when they get in here. I'm actually gonna put that in with the dog stuff. Putting the girls, my glass stuff with Kennedy's glass stuff, the stuff that we like to keep in the drawer for, and I'll deal with that in a second. Batteries, I'm gonna put the emergency radio back. The flashlight, oh, I guess it is fine, and my glasses. Tear off my list of things I'll need. The paper. Sometimes it's just like a big thing of, like a big puzzle. You put it in. And extra key rings, sometimes we need those. Put those in there. Take this out because that was a winner. Put that with the other thing. All right. And now I think we're good to go. Like I said, I've got a bin labeled for the 3M hooks out in the garage already from another project that I did. I've got everything separated out for the girls, for us. Everything's put back in the drawer. And then I will put my stuff back into the office. While I have you guys, I just wanted to go over something else real quick. I know we're running over the time. So it's important, like I said, to keep just a junk drawer, not junk drawers, because there's no point in having multiple spaces that have a bunch of stuff in them, and then it makes it hard to find. One of the things that we do have that I need to go through again is we have a cabinet where we keep all the candles, and right now it kind of looks like a hot mess. So keep the air fresheners. I am actually getting away from doing the plug-in wall fresheners. I have actually started using more essential oils. So we are going to go through this after I get off here. And I'm gonna go through our oils, and I may try and either sell them, or not oils, the plug-ins, because I'm not using them anymore. So I may try and sell those. And then we also keep the candles for birthdays. I love these little like squatty mason jars to put the birthday candles in. So that way you have candles that are easily accessible. And then also I keep the lighters that we use for candles or for lighting the fire pit up here in the cabinet, so that way little hands don't get a hold of them. So those kind of things, the dangerous stuff, is kind of important to kind of keep it up, but keep it together. So this whole cabinet, which I'm gonna go through after I get off here, is like the candles. So we have other candles up here for like an emergency. If we ever would lose power, we know they're in the same location. And then I have some other smell good candles, which I'm kind of getting away from just because I'm using the diffuser more. So then my hope is to take my oils for the diffuser and stick them in here instead. So, and again, this cabinet's perfect because it's one of those oddball cabinets. So if you happen to have one of those oddball cabinets, this is a great place to store things that you don't necessarily need to have all the time, but you need to have access to. So it's one of those funky little corner cabinets. Like, what are we gonna do with it? And it's a perfect place to put the candles for birthdays or emergencies, whatever the case may be, or to store some extra smell goods if you have them. So unless anybody has any other questions, just to kind of recap, junk drawers, they are essential to the hub of the family, but what's important is making sure that you don't have an overload of things in them. And if you've revamped a space and now you have a place to put things, like we have now a designated office space to put pens and my crafting stuff, then maybe moving those things around. Just like with anything, with cleaning or with gardening, periodically you need to go through and kind of tend to them. And this is kind of like one of those areas that can get out of control, especially since multiple people use them at the same time. If you feel like it's something where people just aren't getting it once you get it organized, labeling is always an option. You can get label makers in various forms, just little tiny tags, and I can probably link something in the post so that you can have it. So does anybody have any questions or anything? If not, I appreciate you stopping by. I can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow. Before I forget, remember, if you could, do me a favor, subscribe to the Crib Style webpage to sign up for the newsletter, because like I said, periodically I am gonna share some little tidbits to my subscribers only. Also, don't forget to like and share the video. And if you don't have Facebook and you're catching me on YouTube, I appreciate it very much. You can still go on to the Crib Style website and subscribe to the email list, and then also be sure to share with your friends. Thanks, and have a great Sunday. Bye, guys.